Welcome to TGI Today, Kauai Island's only live newscast powered by AVI. TGI Today focuses on local and relevant news content you can only get from the Garden Island. I'm Rose, and with me is James. Join us as we bring you the in-depth stories behind the headlines right here on TGI Today. On today's show, we have stories about Sea Scouts rescuing a sailboat, Southwest donating free flights for students, and increased recycling and waste diversion grants available. Before we start, a big mahalo to Long's Drugs for sponsoring today's newscast. Visit your local Long's Drugs for your everyday needs and continue to make Long's part of your day. Today we're talking about a remarkable rescue mission at the Nauwili Small Boat Harbor. James, can you tell us more about how the Sea Scouts came to the rescue?
Commodore Larry Richardson of the Kauai Sea Scouts mentioned that the scouts aboard the USS Decisive saved the day on Wednesday at the Nauwili Small Boat Harbor.
What was the sequence of events that led to this successful rescue mission?
The Sea Scouts watched a sailboat get stuck on rocks at the dock and sprang into action, using a tow line, a heaving line, a boat hook, and some handheld radios to pull the vessel off the rocks and into its slip.
How did the Sea Scouts manage to handle the situation once they reached the distressed vessel?
Towing the sailboat by hand, the Sea Scouts successfully got the vessel into its slip and provided emergency medical treatment to the mariners for minor injuries.
A remarkable rescue indeed. Thank you, James, for sharing this inspiring story with us. Coming up next, Southwest Airlines is making dreams come true for students with free flights to visit Pearl Harbor. Now we're talking about Southwest Airlines' donation of free flights for students to go on a Pearl Harbor excursion. James, can you elaborate on how Southwest Airlines is making this possible for students?
In partnership with the Pearl Harbor Historic Sites, Pearl Harbor Explorer Program, Southwest Airlines donated 400 complimentary seat passes for 4th through 12th grade students to fly to Oahu from the neighbor islands for a 2-day Pearl Harbor excursion.
What are some of the key details educators need to know to apply for this program?
Educators are required to submit an application detailing your interest in a learning program, the expected student impact, financial and travel requirements, and their commitment to manage the travel logistics. The program covers transportation, museum fees, educational program fees, meals, and overnight accommodations.
Can you share with us how students can benefit from this initiative through the Pearl Harbor Explorer program?
The Pearl Harbor Explorer program offers an immersive learning experience by visiting multiple historic sites in Pearl Harbor. Students from the neighbor islands can participate in this program thanks to the partnership with Southwest Airlines.
Thank you, James, for sharing this story. Coming up next, we'll talk about how you can get your hands on grants for increased recycling and waste diversion. Stay tuned. And now for the increased recycling and waste diversion grants available on Kauai. James, what do we know about the grant applications for projects that increase recycling and waste diversion?
Rose, the County of Kauai's Solid Waste Division is accepting grant applications for projects that align with the Integrated Solid Waste Management Plan update. The plan aims to maximize waste diversion and protect the health of Kauai residents.
That's interesting. What are some project examples that are eligible for these grants?
Well, Rose, project examples include diverting food waste and recyclables from the landfill, reuse programs, upcycling projects, and other initiatives directly related to recycling and waste diversion. The total grant amount available is $40,000, and it's open to nonprofits. The deadline to apply is November 8 at 3 p.m.
Great to know. What can you tell us about the application process and where can organizations find more information?
Organizations can find application forms and more information by visiting Kauai's Solid Waste Division website.
And that's a wrap on the increased recycling and waste diversion grants available on Kauai. Stay tuned for more updates on environmental initiatives. That wraps up today's edition of TGI Today, the local and relevant news content you can only get from the Garden Island. Thanks for tuning in. For complete local news coverage, visit the Garden Island website, your go-to spot for staying up to date. See you next time.